Let's pray that the word will make way for us. The word of God will be a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. The word of God will make way for us. It will order our steps. And as we listen, that the Lord Almighty will work in our lives. Just as we have prayed, our actions, our deeds, our thoughts, our minds will be of Christ in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we pray for the teacher and we pray for the students. We ask, Lord, that you will speak through us and you will give us a new rhema in the name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, have your way. Let your will alone be done. Let it be all that you want us to hear. Let there be healing, let there be deliverance, let there be mercy, let there be favor, let there be victory. Let your name be exalted above every other one of us. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen. Amen. In Jesus' name. Praise the Lord. Just as Pastor prayed and our sister also shared Titus 7, what will we do? What would Christ do? When things happen to us, or when we want to overreact, what will you do? What do you think that Christ will do? Because a lot of us tend to, act irrationally when something happens. Maybe somebody steps on our toes now, and all we need to do is just to tell the person, "Oh, my sis, my bros, you just stepped on my toes." Rather than that, we just lash out. Why? Because maybe we have already been bottled with a lot of anger, and you just slashed out at the person. And what we don't understand as believers sometimes is that that person can also be going through some things. Maybe that person is going through some challenges you don't know, but because they mistakenly did that to you, you just blow up. That's not Christian life. The Lord will work on every one of us. I was telling Pastor this morning, there is somebody back home in Nigeria. When I heard that my mom's driver, had to leave because she's traveling, so the driver had to leave to go and get a job somewhere else. But he didn't have the mind to tell my mom, so he sneakily went for a job, and fortunately he got the job. So he now came back to say my mom that, "Oh, sorry, Mama, I won't be driving you anymore. I've got a better job," and things like that. So my mom was very upset. So somebody told us that Mama didn't have a driver, and so she's a bit stressful. So I talked to Pastor. Pastor said, let's try and get her somebody else. So there's somebody that we know who is very close as well, who drives her around sometimes. So I now called him and said, "Bro," I said, "Please, so is happening. Can you help us to be driving Mama when she wants to go? Because she has to travel. So she'll be going out often, maybe to do visa and all that." So the brother said he will. So I asked him, I said, "How much do you want to charge?" He said, "Oh, for you, give me just 3,000 naira a day." I thought that was a lot. But because I don't want our man to be stressed, I told my boss, Pastor said, "Let's just give it to him." Lo and behold, I said to him, "Bro, if I'm giving you this money, number one, don't let Mama know. And don't collect any money from Mama. All your duty is go there. Mama, you want to go out, drive around, bring her back home, and call me or text me or flash me. I'll give you the 3,000. That was our bargain. He said to me, "If Mama wants to collect money from me, what should I say?" I said, "Tell Mama to keep the money for you. When she travels and comes back, then, she will give you the money. Just say like that. So don't tell her anything yet. But when she comes back, don't collect the money." She said, "Yes, ma'am." Lo and behold, after 2 times, Pastor said to me, "This man is collecting this man is collecting money from you, and he's collecting money from Mama." And I trust people a lot. I said, "No, Pastor, no, the guy, it's not like that. That man is very trustworthy. He won't do things like, how much is it?" No. So he did all that. We paid him 3,000 every day till Mama came here. Mama now came yesterday. We were talking to Mama. Mama now said that my driver is so and so. So I just said, "Mama, the person who is driving you, I hope you have not been paying the person." Mama said, "That man doesn't joke with money. I pay him 3,000 every day. I paid him." I said, "You paid him? Are you sure, Mama, you paid him?" I said, "Yeah, I paid him." I said, "But I'm paying him." Pastor said I should be paying him. Mama said, "You are paying him? You didn't tell me you are paying." I said, "Mama, my mom was so upset. He was going to call him and give him." I said, "Mama, you know what? Don't worry. that this man might not be deceiving. I said, but I trusted him. I said, Mama, just leave this. Don't work yourself up. Sometimes when things like that happen, maybe it's the disfavored things that we have that the man has taken away. I said, don't worry, just leave it like that. You know, I didn't get offended and I didn't really, but I didn't, even I was saying, Pastor, even if he calls me, I'll still talk. Let him open his mouth by himself and say, I've done you bad. It doesn't bother me. It's not the end of the life. Even if I don't have the money and I give it to me, it's not the end of the life. So sometimes you just have to ask Christ to just help us. Because there are people like that you trust them, you know, but they will still do bad to you. But don't worry. Just give it back to Christ. Just lay it on the cross. The Lord will help us. We get there in Jesus' name. Sorry, I'm taking your time a bit. It is not. So last week was about the finger of God in action. Today is lesson 47 that we're going for. Lesson 47 says success breakthrough. To have success in breakthrough. What is success? How do we know that we are successful? Or what does people claim to be success? Is it money? Is it their houses? Is it their jobs? Is it their home? Is it their family? How can you define success? What is success?
When everything is going well with you.
When everything is going well with you. Thank you. Okay, how would you know that things are going well with you? How would you know? How do you define success? How can you tell? Are you all successful here? Yes, Ashley. Yes.
Say if you're working really hard on something and then like you pass it, and that's success.
Yes, working hard at something. Kristen, how can you tell if you are successful? How can you tell? Yes. As a footballer, how can you tell if you are successful?
You can tell if you get put with a higher age group.
When?
If you get put with a higher age group.
Yes.
And when people are congratulating festivals, live well,
Yes. That's success. There are different types of success. It can be mad. Yes, Sister Princess.
Yeah. As a student, let me just say this for our teenage also. As you're in the class, maybe you are not really doing well where you're supposed to be. You started studying hard, then later the teacher moves you to another higher table, or later move you to a higher table, or you successfully pass the exam to the grade you are meant to get, or more than that, you have a successful exam or successful academic year.
Yes. Success can be anything. It can be spiritual, it can be physical, it can be academic, it can be marital, it can be business-wise, every area. You know, as you said, once you feel that you've been elevated from one level to another level, not going down. Going down is not success. So going up, there's a trace of success in it. But for a believer, success is obedience to God, empowered by the Spirit of God and directed towards the advancement of the kingdom. That's to a believer. That's when you know that yes, a believer is successful. So the memory verse this morning is taken from Genesis 26, verse 22, which we will always read together. Genesis 26, verse 22. Let's go, if you are there, 1, 2, please. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Rehoboth, and he said, For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. Let's say it one more time. Genesis 26, 22. Let's go, 1, 2.
And he removed from thence and did another well,
Yes.
and for that they strove not.
Yes.
And he called the name of it Rahab. And he said, For now the Lord has made room for us,
Yes.
and we shall be fruitful in the land.
The Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. Every one of us shall be fruitful in this land, and the Lord will make room for us in the mighty name of Jesus. So the Bible passage says also from Genesis 26, from 1 to 14. So I'll just read very quickly so that you can have an idea of why that scripture came about. Genesis 26, verse 1. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the land of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell of thee. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham thy father. 4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. Just like some of us sometimes we lie like that. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest say he, the men of the place, should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. 8. And it came to pass, when he had been there for a long time, that Abimelech, king of Philistines, looked out of the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety, she is thy wife. And how sayest thou that she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I died for her. And Abimelech said, What is this that thou hast done unto us? One of my people might likely have learned with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. 12. Then Isaac sowed in the land, and received in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. That will be our portion in the mighty name of Jesus. And the last verse 14 says, For he had possession of flocks, and possessions of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. Your enemies will envy you in the name of Jesus. For you will have a lot of possessions of flocks and herds, and your stores, and of a great store of servants in the mighty name of Jesus. This was what happened to Isaac. All because God says Abraham, his father, obeyed him. It's always good to obey God totally. When God called Abraham and said to him, Give me your Isaac, he was ready to give Isaac, even himself and his wife, everything back to God. Because you know that it's God that gives to us. And anytime he wants anything from us, we should be willing and obedient to give to him. So without God, there is no success. That's what the passage is trying to say. Without God, there will be no success. People will think as successful as unbelievers. It's not really success. Because at the end of the day, God is not in it. So God needs to be in every part of success that we have. Amen. So generally, a success breakthrough is a major forward step, which everybody has said, of progress after efforts have been applied. Just as our sister said, you read for the exams, and you did the exams, and you passed the exams. That's also success. So examples of this could be great innovation or discovery that outcomes signifies obstacles. In other words, it is overcoming something challenging, which we've all said about success. It's about achieving a planned goal and having an achievement. You plan a goal and you achieve the goal. That is success. Success breakthrough. That is success breakthrough. Praise the Lord. So this is often associated with prospering in a set objective, although it may mean difficult things to different people, just as we have said. Success means different things to different people. Praise the Lord. So it can be financial, it can be material, it can be scientific, it can be academic, it can be marital. We've given all the examples, and it can be spiritual breakthrough. So the outline, there are instances of success breakthrough, and the second one, going from setback to comeback. So instances of success breakthrough. Success breakthrough is not limited to financial wealth. It's not limited to marital alone. It's not limited to academic alone. It's not limited to businesses alone. It could also include discoveries and victorious welfare. When you have victory in a particular spiritual battle, that is also success as well, according to 2 Samuel 23, 15 to 16. Are we there? 2 Samuel 23, 15 to 16. So there was an instance of 4 lepers who got an unimaginable and amazing breakthrough in the midst of famine and war, which is according to 2 Kings 6 as well. 2 Kings 6, 25. Abraham laid the foundation of breakthroughs for generations after him. So what foundations are you also laying down for generations that will be after you? He laid a foundation for Isaac. Praise the Lord. So I hope as we are here as parents, we are also doing the same thing, laying a foundation down for your generation. Because you cannot just come to this world and pass through this world without any achievement or without any success. Genesis 18, 18 to 19. Isaac got breakthrough in Gerar. He became greater than Abraham. And even us as well. The Bible says we're supposed to be greater than our parents, so that our children can also be greater than us. That's the prayer that we always pray. That our children will be better, they will be richer than us, they will be stronger than us, they will be wealthier than us, they will live longer than us. That's the prayer of every parent, and that will be our portion. But for us to achieve this, we have to set a goal. You have to work with God. We have to be obedient to God, total obedience to God. We cannot just work imaginary. We cannot just work on our own mind, on our thought, and say, okay, I'm going to build this house today, and without God in it doesn't work. Or I'm going to achieve this without God in it doesn't work. Even if it works, it may not last. So God has to be in everything. Genesis 26, 13 to 14. Jacob had an extraordinary scientific breakthrough, and he increased exceedingly. Genesis 30, 28 to 43. That's when God actually helped Joseph. God helped Jacob. Praise the Lord. So success is the goal, and success is also a grace that can be given by God alone. By God alone. Solomon also had a multi-dimensional breakthrough. Solomon too was successful, according to 2 Chronicles 1, 6 to 12. Solomon was successful because David paid the price. David was Solomon's father. So I hope that your own parents are paying the price now, so that you too can be like Solomon. Be wealthy, and also have divine wisdom like Solomon. Parents, I hope you are doing something for the children. I didn't hear yes. Praise the Lord. So going from setback to comeback. So quite often a breakthrough shows in a change in trend. One can experience a breakthrough from negative or unfavorable circumstances sometimes, or from positive to favorite condition. So here we're going to examine some biblical instances where someone goes from setback to comeback. An example of that is a man called Obededon. I always call him Obededon. It's from First Chronicles 13 to 14. The Bible says that he moved from nothing. He moved from nothing to blessing, from nothing to something. He was a man that didn't have anything, but the only thing he did was that David asked him to keep the ark of God in his house. And the minute the ark came into his house, his life changed, his story changed. He became an envy of many people at that time. Why? Because he looks after the ark of God. Are you praying for breakthrough? Are you waiting on the Lord for breakthrough? Are you asking God what He wants you to do in order to have the breakthrough? This is exactly what this man did. First Chronicles 13. The second person is Jabez. Jabez moved from sorrow to success. Jabez was named sorrow all his life. But one particular day, his eyes were opened and he cried out to God, his maker. Because sometimes when our parents give birth to us, some of us will have a mark that until we cry out to God, the battles and the mark will still be on our bodies. But the minute you cry, Abba Father, and you go to God in prayer, whatever it is that your parents have, whatever battles they have not finished fighting, you will finish fighting the battle, and then you will have breakthroughs. There are some people they said in their families, by the time they get to age 39 and they have, if it's a male, they always die. Some will say the particular family, they can never have a male child. It will always be a female child. Some will say at the verge of every miracle, something ridiculous will happen to them. They might just become sick for no reason. So different families have different battles. So Jabez was able to realize the kind of battles that he has. So I pray that the Lord will open our eyes to know the battles that we have. There are some they can never get married. They will have beautiful, industrious, wonderful men and women in their family. But because there's a curse, there's a battle their parents have not seen, they can never get married. But the minute they become born again, and God opened their eyes and they see the battles that their family did not finish, their parents did not finish fighting, and they start to pray and begin to fast and begin to look unto God, God will always help them out to fight the battle. But they have to realize it. That's why sometimes a lot of us say we are born again, things are not working for me, But have you actually gone to see your history? You have to go to your foundations. There are some spiritual foundations that as a believer you need to go and deal with it. If you don't deal with it, you will just be a believer without no sign and wonders. You have to ask the Lord. Go into prayer. Have night meetings by yourself. You don't need anybody. Cry unto Him. There's a lot of prayer book that we can hold. They are in the shops. You pick them. Read the prayer books. Ask God for intervention. Ask God, what am my life like? What am I like? What am I doing? Why is this kind of thing happening to me? Some people, they will be looking for a job all their lives. And the minute they get a very good job, something ridiculous will happen. It's part of the battles of life. Until we ask God to open our eyes. That was what Jabez was praying day and night. God, you need to help me. No, I don't want to become sorrow anymore. Open my eyes. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? And that was how God helped him. The next one is Peter. The Bible says in the book of Luke 5, which we all know, 4 to 7. Peter, from frustrating night of fishing, he became an abundant harvest of fish. All his life is toiling, working without no success, working hard without no success, until he met Christ. We are born again, but some of us have not met Christ. until we really meet Christ. When everything he asked us to do in the Bible, we're doing it. That's when we can have that encounter. Peter did the same thing. The Bible says that Jesus went to him and said, lend me your boat. Lend me your boat. And he lent Jesus his boat, and his life was never the same again. The same thing is widow of Zarephath. From hopelessness to miraculous supplies. 1 Kings 17, 10-16. And Naaman from affliction of leprosy to wholesome. Elizabeth, Luke 1, 5-7. From barrenness to become fruitfulness. And the widow of the prophet, from indebtedness, he became well. 2 Kings 4, 1-7. Pastor showed us the video the other time. Woman became wealthy from nothing. Nothing. She was just meant to eat the little food and die with his son. And the Lord appeared to him. Praise the Lord. Any questions before we quickly round up? Any question? Success, breakthrough. Every believer must have success. Every believer must have breakthrough in every areas of our lives. That's the reason why we're serving God. That's why we're in Christ. There should be a difference between a believer and a non-believer. There should always be a difference. We cannot be the same as unbeliever. Something supernatural must be in our lives. And people will know that definitely these people, they are really born again and they are serving God. Any questions before we round up? Success, breakthrough. Christians we have to be successful. No questions? Yes, ma'am.
My question is that why do we find it so difficult for Christians to be at the edge, at the top of these things? These days, you find that most of the people that are really doing well are the ones that are not, doing the right stuff. They are not with God. They are not Christ-like. And for example, I was talking with a couple of my young colleagues, and we were talking, and they said the reason why they believe that they will not do right is because people that are not doing right are the ones that are the ones making it. And you kind of sit down and go, why are Christians not shining? Since we are the salt of the world, we are the light of the world. What is the reason? Just a practical question.
Why are Christians not shining? Why is it that only those who are not Christians are those? It looks as if they are the one making it.
That's a very good example, and even this week I was just referring to a very, very good example that happened a couple of years ago, in fact. I've got a friend of mine, and she and her husband has got a very, very big income. And when I get to know her, I said to her, have you got your own house? She goes, it's been my prayer for a long time, and things keep getting in the way of why we can't buy a house. I think it's spiritual. We've been praying, prayer meetings upon praying and praying and praying. So me as a good friend, I went into a house and kind of studied this area about success. I look around our house and thinking, let me go to a house and just see if I could sort of figure out where the problem is coming from. Well, when I went there, it wasn't, to me, it was nothing to do with prayers. A family of 3 children has got 7 different boxes of cereal. Cupboards are full with food that will last you about 4 or 5 months. Washing powder, about 4 or 5 washing powder. And I had to be honest with her. I said, what I have to say to you, you might not like it, but you are spending your house money. And she goes, no, my husband will have to find another job, and the spiritual things has been. I said, there is nothing spiritual about what I see. What I see is that you're overspending on things that you don't need. You need to go back and budget yourself and see where you can cut back and start doing, because as much as you pray and you're not living by the principle of success, it's not going to come. I don't care which pastor you're going to, which prayer meeting you're going to. If you keep spending money on things that you don't need, why would a child need 5 different coats, 10 different cornflakes, all these kind of things? And we were not speaking for about a good 2 months until she got over herself. And about a good year after, she said to me, she came back to me, she goes, Wanda, I need to say something to you. When you said that thing to me, I was really, really cross. But I thought as a friend, you probably were right. And today,
I decided to cut back on my spending, and I couldn't believe this. I went to her house one day. I opened a cupboard and she made me feel like the rich person. She had just exactly what she needed for that 2 weeks. And do you know what? Within 2 years, this woman balanced her budget and she saved 18,000. And she is now, between this month to next month, is going to buy a house that is worth over 370,000. So I know sometimes, guys, as Christians, we fail to realize that sinners out there are using the principle. The principle is if you are spending more than you earn, you're never going to save and invest for wealth or finance. It's not going to happen. So we need to probably not stop praying, but put principle to action. And that goes for everyone. As much as we pray and we don't cut our spending and watch what we are spending our money on, it's just in vain. Because I always say, when Peter stepped out, he had to step on the water on unknown ground for something to happen. And it's just that our life is the same thing.
Very quickly, yes.
Praise the Lord. I want to answer that question. Let me continue from where Sister Wanda stopped. Life is all about principles. Whatever we do in life is principle.
Now the truth is this: many Christians are not living in the principles of prosperity. Now, I keep saying it over and over again, prayer is not in the success equation. You can pray your way through spiritually, you cannot pray your way through financially. There are principles we must obey. Now, and I want to state that there is, I would say it's wrong if we say Christians don't prosper, because the Bible recorded that the blessings of Abraham were likened unto the sand in the seashore. And we keep singing Abraham blessings are mine. Bible recorded also the blessings of Solomon can never be equated with any blessing in the world. Now God can bless a man. Psalm 24 verse 1, the earth is of the Lord's and the fullness thereof. It's all about following the principles of life. But let me conclude by saying that the greatest problem of life is that we attribute success to financial prosperity. Finance is just an aspect of success. The Bible said in 3 John chapter 1 verse 2, he said, I wish above all that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. So success is not just in finance. Success is in dimensions. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. I think when Sister Wanda and Brother Joshua have said it all, there are some principles that we need to follow as Christians. Because we're not following those principles, the non-believers are following the principles, and we can see them prosper right in front of our faces.
What is the principle?
Praise the Lord. There are a lot of principles. The principles basically is just obeying and following God. Like from my own profession, from what I always tell people outside, really, there's a principle called 70-10-10. We call it 70-10-10 for believers. When we go to churches, we preach it out because of the nature of the job business I do. We said 70% of everything that you get, that's financial. Everything that you get, 70% is for you to keep. And to spend, praise the Lord. So to spend on other things, right? Then 10 of it is the tithe. You make sure you're paying your tithe, it's 10%. The other 10 is giving, charity, out of the 100% of it. And the third one is what Pastor forgot to. Thank you. The 10 one, yes, the third 10 one is for saving and investment, which you say. A lot of Christians collect £100 a week today, and we just everything. Sometimes we spend £200 and we only have £100. So the people we are saying who are the unbeliever, when they get their money, they go to the mosque. They first of all give their, I don't know how much they give there. Then the other 10 they have, they give charity, they give people, they give it out. Then the other 10, believe me, they invest. They invest, they keep it. That when their child wants to buy a house, out of the investment, they put cash. They put cash down. They put cash down. We Christians don't put cash down. So that is one of the principles. If we can follow those principles, believe me, you'll be financially free. Because of the time, I can't say more. But I've talked to you later if you want any of that. Father, we just Let's just bow our head, just pray that the Lord will open our eyes to, God can even talk to us with His principle that He wants us to have. That Lord, every believer, everyone that is born again, we need to be successful in every area, have breakthrough success. That's why we're teaching it today. Father, we ask, God, that you will help us. You will give us the ability. We know, even some of us know the principles. You will help us to step out of the boat like Peter in order to be able to achieve. And at the end, the money, everything that we have, the success will be given back to you for the advancement of the kingdom. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We give you praise. In Jesus' mighty name.
Praise the name of the Lord. Wait for somebody beside you this morning. Just give a handshake to somebody. All welcome into His presence. And in the presence of God. Just welcome somebody as we worship Him, as we praise His holy name. It's worthy of your praise. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.